Hi, everybody. Jay Privman, the national correspondent with Daily Racing Form, joined by Mike Watchmaker. He's the national handicapper with Daily Racing Form. We put together the Derby Watch Top 20 every week. And Mike, maybe the biggest prep weekend we just had was last weekend because we have a new number one, but it's a horse that we have both been excited about since his debut 2 months ago. Let's start with talking about Justify, not only his Santa Anita Derby victory, but your decision to now make him the favorite for the Kentucky Derby.
Well, I don't think it was that hard of a decision to make, Jay. I mean, he's the favorite in Vegas with the people I respect the most. He was the favorite in the Kentucky Derby Future Wager. I think it's pretty clear that at this particular point in time, the favorite for the Kentucky Derby is Justified. It was only a matter of how low I would make him. He was, I thought, terrific winning the Santa Anita Derby. Now, I know he got away with an easy, uncontested early lead. I mean, all that is true. But still, this was his third career start. It was his first start at a distance beyond 1 mile. It was his first start in a stake race, and he was running against a horse of Bolt Oro, who I had favored for the Derby going into last weekend, and who is unquestionably one of the best members of his generation, who ran last year, I thought, the best race by a two-year-old male, a two-year-old of any type, in North America when he won the front runner. I mean, he beat a high-quality opponent, and he beat him decisively and soundly. And I know that everyone's talking about, well, Justify's not going to get that kind of early lead in the Kentucky Derby, and that's true. But who's to say that Justify can't win rating off the pace? I mean, he did that in his brilliant second victory. So, I just think he's a terrific racehorse, and Apollo up there somewhere is trembling in his boots.
Yes, as Justify and perhaps another horse that we'll be talking about in our preview video, Magnum Moon, both trying to become the first horses since Apollo in 1882 to win the Kentucky Derby without starting as a two-year-old. Mike, one of the things I really liked about Justify's win on Saturday was that I thought Bolt Oro made a couple of runs at him, first on the far turn and then at the eighth pole, and both times Justify spurned him, and I thought he was coming away from him again in the closing yards of the race. So he's obviously a remarkable talent, and to have come as far as fast as he did in just 48 days to go from an unstarted maiden to beating a quality horse like Bolt Oro really shows just how good Justify is. I thought Bolt Oro, though, ran well in his own right. He was in a chasing position the whole race, made a couple of runs. He was second best on the day, but certainly you would think the dynamics of the Kentucky Derby would be more favorable for Bolt Oro. I think he's run 2 good races since coming off of the layoff. What do you think of his performance?
I still have immense respect for Bolt Oro. I think he's still one of the very best members of his generation, and I thought he ran very well. I mean, he just ran into a freak and Justify. And I mean, maybe the dynamics of the Derby will set up better for Bolt Oro, but Bolt Oro is a horse that still has a couple of quirks. I mean, breaking out of the gate isn't his best thing. And, he hesitates one bit coming out of the gate in the Kentucky Derby, and it could be race over, and they haven't even, the teletype hasn't even started yet. So I have immense respect for him, but he's still got a couple of quirks, but he's obviously got a tremendous amount of talent. I'm frankly surprised, and I understand that there are other factors involved in there, but if I were Javier Castellano, I would have stuck with Bolt Oro. I understand why he's going to ride Top Electrizatable in the Kentucky Derby. I mean, there's a lot of politics involved there in business, but still, I think he's absolutely still one of the ones when it comes to contenders for the Kentucky Derby.
Victor Espinoza has picked up the mount on Bolt Oro. He's a 3-time Derby winner, is Victor Espinoza. Mike, let's move on to the Bluegrass Stakes. Now, Bolt Oro was the runner-up for champion 2-year-old male last year, and the reason was because he didn't win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It was won by Good Magic, who got back in the win column with a victory in the Bluegrass Stakes. The top 3 finishers from the Bluegrass are on our Derby Watch list. Give me your thoughts on, respectively, Good Magic, the runner-up Flame Away, and Free Drop Billy, who crossed the wire 4th and then got moved up to 3rd on the disqualification of Sporting Chance.
Well, the good news for Good Magic, Jay, is that he got back in the win column. I mean, it was something that he had to do after, I thought, a subpar performance in his 3-year-old debut in the Fountain. He was empty in the Fountain of Youth. He ran better in the Bluegrass, but I don't think the Bluegrass was in any way, shape, or form an artistic success for him. It was a grinding victory. I wasn't overly impressed with it. I know he beat a very, very game horse in Flame Away, and I'd love to own Flame Away. He runs on anything. He shows up every time he goes to post, but he's a horse now that is, stuck in the low 90s buyer figure-wise, and Good Magic had to work hard to put that horse away. I think one of the telling things about Good Magic's performance is Sporting Chance was all over the stretch, all over the racetrack in the stretch. I mean, all over the racetrack. And in the final furlong, Good Magic only put 1/4 of length, an additional 1/4 of length on Sporting Chance. And I think that's telling. I respect Good Magic. He's a champion, but he's not going to be my Derby pick.
I thought it was a solid race for him. I thought he improved off his Fountain of Youth comeback, but I still think based on the quality that we're seeing in this year's Kentucky Derby, he needs to take another step forward. Now, he did it last year. His third start last year at 2 was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It was far and away his best race, and he's going to need another improvement like that, I think, to be a factor on May the 5th. As for Flame Away, I echo everything you said. He's a really tough, hard-knocking horse. You're in a fight with him every time. I just think he's a slight cut below the very best of this group. And as for Free Drop Billy, that was a fortuitous DQ for him because it gave him enough points to be in the Kentucky Derby. But he just doesn't look to me like he's getting any better. He just kind of runs the same race, and it's good enough to pick up a check here and there. But looking forward to a few weeks from now, I just don't think he's quite good enough. Let's move on, Mike, to the third and final race of the trio of races from last week, and that was the Wood Memorial, won by Vino Rosso, an improvement for him off of his last couple of races at Tampa Bay. I thought this was a good race for him, but I thought it was also very much race shape favoring him. It was a hot pace, and I thought everything just sort of was made to order for his late run. Now, maybe he can get the same kind of trip in the Kentucky Derby, but I thought he got a really, really good setup on Saturday to beat Enticed. What did you think of the top 2 finishers in this race?
Well, I agree, Jay. He did get a great setup to beat Enticed. It was still a significant step forward for him. We'd be remiss not to mention the controversy over the non-disqualification here, because there's no doubt that Vino Rosso came in the stretch and impeded Enticed. The thing of it is that there's no way in the world Vino Rosso still wasn't going to win that race. As a matter of fact, the way he came in, he probably compromised himself more than he compromised Enticed. And there was no way, even if he wasn't bothered, that Enticed was going to win that race. I mean, Vino Rosso was clearly the best horse, and under the circumstances, I agreed with the steward's decision to leave it alone. In Vino Rosso's defense, he took a significant step forward, even if he was well set up. As for Enticed, he ran okay. It was a game effort on his part. The thing of it is that I had suspicions going into the Wood Memorial that he's a horse that might be a little bit suspect going 2 turns at this particular stage of his career. I know he won the Kentucky Jockey Club at Churchill last fall, but it was a very slow race. And I came out of the Wood Memorial thinking the same thing, because he just didn't stay in the final furlong. And I think at this point, he might be best as a 1-turn miler.
Well, that's our look at the 3 big races from last week that impacted our Derby Watch Top 20. Stay tuned here at drf.com, where you'll see a preview of both the Arkansas Derby and the Lexington Stakes, the final 2 races on the road to the Kentucky Derby. For Mike Watchmaker, I'm Jay Privman saying, go Kings go, and thanks for watching.